that he begat Methuselah. I think Methuselah was the one that was supposed to be the oldest. I remember hearing that as a kid, like Bible trivia, who was the oldest man ever like recorded in the Bible. And Methuselah was the name, so we'll see how old he was. So far, the record is 962. We'll see if Methuselah beats that. And all the days of Enoch. So this one, Enoch didn't even die. So that's interesting. For God took him. Whoa. Okay. Where to? And why? That's the. And if he didn't die, and surely all of us must die, God has a reason for keeping him alive. That means he would either still be alive or died later, or is alive to this day and is going to die at some point. Enoch sounds like a very special man here. Methuselah, his son, lived in 807 years and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 708 and 2 years and begat sons and daughters. All the days of Methuselah were 960 and 9. Okay, so the record was 962. He lived 7 more years. 969. And then he died. So if that's the top of the mountain there, of the mountain peak for the age here, then Methuselah wins. And as far as this record is concerned, we don't know if anybody else lived longer, if there's any other records. But and then his son Lamech, and Lamech lived in 180 and 2 years, and begat a son. Wow, he had a son when he was 182 years. And he called his name Noah, saying, "This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed." And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years and begat sons and daughters. And all of the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. Wow, this is significantly lower. It's gone down to 770 years, or 7 years. 770 and 7. So triple seven. That's like a casino. Ding, ding, ding. Is that right? All the days of Lamech. I'll scroll up. Well, that's as far as I can scroll. So you can't see what I'm reading here, but trust me, I'm reading it. Maybe I'll go up on my screen here. All right. And all the days of Lamech were in verse 31 down there. And all the days of Lamech were 770 and 7 years. Wow, I didn't even know that. 777, and he died. But that's way lower than 969. We're up with Adam at 930, then someone jumped up to, I forget his name, 962. Methuselah is the oldest at 969. And now we are significantly down to 777. That's like a difference of almost 200 years. 2 centuries difference. Okay, and Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. What? So he begat them when he was 500. So if you go by these numbers, it's pretty interesting to look at as to, this is an interesting chapter. Again, enjoyed reading this with you guys. Just like broke it down already. I don't think I have much else to discuss on this one. Nothing comes to mind. It's just interesting if you want to take the ages literally. I don't know. Would it be cool to live that long? I mean, I think it would. I mean, it'd be, it's definitely a good starter for filling up the planet with people. Is if you wanted to boost the amount of people on here, this would be a good way to start, because especially if they could have children that whole time. But maybe the children they're having is just who they're mentioning, as far as they're probably just talking about the children that carry on the line somehow. Maybe they're, some children are lost. Who knows? They're not going to write about that. They're just going to go, okay, out of all the hundreds of children I've had, these are the ones that are carrying the torch, right? So that's what's written here. We're going, to those children who are towing the line, if you will, the generational line. And there could have been numerous other children who, you know, could all make their own choices, and many are free to make similar choices like Cain. I mean, it's not like it's having agency or freedom. It's not alien for any one person to choose wrong, to choose the darkness, to choose jealousy, to choose hatred, to choose anger, to choose the dark side, right? The serpent is still around, so somehow he's still whispering and still tempting and still doing things. So it's not like he's gone, and so there's everyone's subject to the same temptations, right? It's like whoever gives in, they're obviously they've made their choice. They've made their bed. They're going to sleep in it. Those who are fighting, who choose to fight against it and choose to try and become better, they're going to, they're going to be on a different side of that coin. So essentially, you are going to have a bunch of deviations here and there. You're going to have like traditions that are set, patterns that are trying to say, hey, if you follow this pattern, this will be the best way to go. Other children might be like, that's good for you, but not for me. And and there's a lot of discoveries happening, right? So there isn't really a precedent for, well, how can you say you have the same pattern if I'm like, just kind of what Cain, I think that was the whole issue with Cain, right? He's like, I plant in the field, I want to bring the Lord, the fruits of my labor from the field, but the Lord had a commandment to bring the firstling of flock, right? And he goes, well, I don't deal with flock. So what happens when you have children that are like musicians, like they have in here, and they mess around with iron, which is good. They're going to go around messing around with all these different things. Whether or not they're going to actually follow a pattern and follow the traditions of what they're taught of their fathers, it's still up to them. And they could be like, nah, it's a bunch of hokey. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to make my instruments and go off. And if you don't like it, I'm going to go off and start my own little club over here. I'm going to have my tent way out there. I don't want to deal with your, talking about this garden thing I've never seen. Wasn't there. Don't care. I'm going to go do my thing. And they, who's to tell them any different, right? They've been given the gift of life and the gift of choice, and they can do what they want. So essentially, this is going to go down the line and talk about the ones that chose to be like, okay, we're going to carry the burden, whether we have the birthright or not. Because as you know, Cain should have had the birthright. He was the oldest, but because of his demeanor, because of his choices, he lost his position. It's passed on to Abel, and then he kills him, right? Well, now Seth carries that. And so whoever these guys are mentioned doesn't necessarily mean they're always the oldest one. It sounds like they're in that order because it just mentions that they're the ones, hey, he beget these guys. And that's who we focus on. But apparently they could have more, just like Adam and Eve did. So all my thoughts, guys. All my thoughts. I just poured them all out. Hope you have fun with that one. See you guys tomorrow on the next chapter.